Welcome to Regulated-ish. Two moms, two cities, one frequency. This is our once-a-month space to talk about what life actually feels like in the middle of parenting, work, and nervous system overload. This isn't therapy, and it's not a how-to show. It's just two real humans noticing what's showing up and trying to be a little kinder to ourselves while we do it. If something here helps you to feel less alone or a little more grounded, that's the point. Two moms regulating in real time so you don't have to do it alone.
All right. Welcome back, friends, to Regulated-ish. Two moms, two cities, one frequency. For the month of January, we're wrapping it up, talking about how to stabilize, after the holidays and everything. Before we dive in, though, let's take a deep breath so that we can stabilize ourselves. So everybody, feet on the floor. Roll back your shoulders and take a nice little deep breath in and out. Sometimes all you need is one breath and life feels better.
And it feels nicer to do it ahead of a big task instead of trying to reclaim yourself after to start at a comfortable, regulated, stable spot.
Yes, I agree it does. Sometimes I'll do that in between sessions when I'm working with people because it just helps me to have like an end and a start and then to begin fresh.
Yeah, it's all reset in between without having to do too much.
All right, I don't know about you, but January is supposed to be the fresh new start, beginning of the year. The holidays are over. The pressure for us to get back to our routines and have motivation to start all the things. Are you
sometimes
feeling
the idea of like a clean slate feels like a nice fresh start, but it also feels like so much pressure to get all of your ducks in a row, where it's just like, why is January such a magical time for everything to be fresh and new when everything's like muddy and gross out? It doesn't seem like the right time to...
No, it still feels like it should be a hibernation type. Like,
absolutely.
I don't understand why stabilizing, refresh, brand new equates all this pressure. Like, I would like January and February to be like months where we just kind of recoup.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a physical and a mental, like recalibration almost.
Yes. And then March, beginning of spring, in my brain, that would make sense then.
Yeah. Things are starting to sprout and things are starting to look fresh and new, that it makes a lot more sense to start it then, but also gives you a little bit of a foothold in the year so that you've got your time to snuggle up and cozy and hibernate through January and February, get your plans in line, and then March, you start executing them.
Yeah, I don't think the idea of January with that pressure to be on is a very good idea.
No, and anybody doing dry January, let's put that much more pressure on. Be like, not even a glass of wine anywhere, not even one little adult beverage. No, thank you.
I never understood that, because then like your tolerance goes down, and then in February, aren't you just messy?
Yeah, sure. Sloppy drunk Valentine's Day date.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun to me. I don't know.
No, it's a hard pass.
Yeah, I'm not a big drinker though.
No, it's pretty rare, but with all that extra pressure of let's start brand new, let's get everything fresh and ready to go. Also, let's not do a drop of drinking during January. It's not my go-to to relax, but it's a nice once in a while sort of, this helped.
Well, but I would say if something is small and you're doing it within reason, why would you then take that away?
Right.
I never understood the let's just suddenly stop something and then see how well it does.
Right, like cold turkey, unless it's, life or death, never made a whole lot of sense, because it just is that much harder for you to process the change.
Yeah, no, I never liked that. And that whole misbelief of January is brand new, and so we have to start it on a good foot in a certain way, and we have to have like all these resolutions and get it all together because the winter season's done. It's just like pressure on top of pressure on top of pressure.
Right, and you're just coming out of a very busy, I don't want to say rough, but intense season of holidays and seeing everybody between Thanksgiving to Christmas, and then New Year's, and all the, added elements of gift giving and hosting and visiting and maybe dealing with family drama that you don't necessarily want to deal with, but it's there because it's the holidays. And then to start January off with that extra pressure, it feels big. It feels heavy sometimes.
Absolutely. And what mom out there doesn't feel like December was a whirlwind? Like, it's awful.
Yeah, parties and spirit weeks and tracking. I don't know if your schools do it at the high school level, but here we'll do extra holiday meals at school. So then it's one more day of checking, like, am I packing a lunch? Who's got the extra meal? It's just one more thing of like, okay, starting anew is nice, but there is also a lot of external pressure that goes along with it, that you need to like flip a switch at midnight and have your whole life together when you're just trying to reclaim your physical space from your Christmas decorations.
Yeah, I just want all the Christmas crap put away.
Yeah, that's my big priority. And if it stays up a couple extra days because you just don't have it in you, then so be it. It's your house, it's your decor. I never subscribe to it must be done by January 7th. It's just like, sometimes it falls on a Tuesday and that just ain't happening.
Yeah, no, for me, it's whatever fits. I want it down and put away so I can like have my house back.
Yeah, isn't it funny that when you take the tree down, you're like, oh my gosh, I got so much more room in here. It's like, I don't remember how big my living room is without a tree in it.
Always, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happens. And then I find a way to clutter it so it doesn't last for long.
No, there's always that like quick declutter. We got to clean up and put things away before we take the tree out. And when the tree comes out, you're like, oh, I got so much space. And then your clutter comes back and you're like, it didn't last very long. Now did it?
No, it didn't. I don't know. I'm just all discombobulated generally in January's because I'm just not sure of my footing or what to do next or what to look forward to. And then I struggle with I shouldn't look forward. I need to be more present in the moment. But it's just after that rush of Christmas of having that day or that time to rush towards.
Right, like that deadline that's been looming. It's kind of nice to not have a deadline, but then you don't want to.
I don't know how to like approach it.
Right. You also don't want to sit in nothingness. You want to have something on the agenda, or your body feels like I'm missing something because you don't have that happening anymore. It's a very odd feeling that once it's all done, it's done. And you're like, okay, now what?
Yes, that's how I feel. I'm like, now what do I do? Like I was scrambling and overwhelming myself and totally in fight, flight, freeze, just running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And now,
absolutely. Yeah. And then your body is almost in a sense of like tense because it's like, what are we forgetting? What are we not doing? What ball's being dropped here? And then you just like have to sit back and remind yourself, be like, no, everything's done. We're good. We can relax for a few minutes. But my brain doesn't ever operate like that. It's always waiting for the next crisis to handle. And it's still something that I'm learning I don't have to live in that tension.
Well, you did that so long for your job. I can't imagine being able to, how difficult it would be to have to switch out of that.
Yeah, it's been a real slow switch and shut off or even applicable. It's like a slow transition of telling my brain and then telling my body and then like, okay, all right, we're not just waiting for the next big thing to happen. So we can just wait for the next thing to happen, or we can just let things go as they come. It's been a real big process.
I love when I'm like in flow, when things are just naturally coming together and I'm not trying to fit things in and they don't fit. But I don't always remember to do that or allow that for myself, or like the permission to say, well, this isn't working right now. Do I have to do it now?
Yeah, the giving yourself the permission to sort of table it for a little bit or shelve it, like put it on the back burner for a bit, because we've been together the past couple of days and you work harder than anybody I've ever been around. Like you just don't ever stop. And then I just sit around going, well, I don't think I'm doing enough, but I'm doing everything that I need to be doing. So I'm doing all right. But then I look at you and you're searching and you're typing and you're writing yourself notes and it's all very impressive. But I just sort of want to help you that you can also just sit at my to-do list is too done, so I'm just satisfied right now.
Sometimes, yes, I definitely need to be reminded not to be overworking because I do totally overwork. But sometimes I'm just being creative. Like,
yeah. And it just looks more like busy admin work.
Yeah.
But it feels more creative that you're getting things down. And
last night it was all about like taglines and how to say stuff and verbiage. And that just feels kind of fun and creative to me. I'm just playing with the thesaurus on my phone.
You know what? It doesn't look like that from the outside.
No.
But if that's what it is to you, then I can sit back and let you thesaurisize. Oh, add that to your thesaurus. I think I just coined a phrase.
There you go. Yeah, no, I was working too much like the first day, but then last night I was just playing around with verbiage. So I don't know. Sometimes I get in these creative modes and it's like a hyperfixation.
I can absolutely relate to that.
So it's like I just want to have the time to dive in and do it.
Strike while the iron's hot and get it while the mood's there.
Yes. And because it's been together this weekend, I can do it without feeling guilty that I'm not paying attention to someone or doing something. I can just be on my phone, using my thesaurus, looking up verbiage, coming up with different taglines, and I don't have to feel guilty. And that was very nice.
No, it's nice being away that we don't have our grown-up responsibilities like laundry and dishes and child taxing and things like that. It's very beneficial to, maybe this was what we need to look at for our January reset. It's like, this is what we needed afterwards.
Maybe that's not a bad idea. We'll have to note that for next year. In January, we just hide away for a weekend.
Yeah, put it on the January 2027 calendar now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, now I'm getting off because that's how I'm showing up today.
Yeah, well, we are off schedule, so things are not always falling into place. I don't think either one of us slept amazingly last night, so definitely yawns myself.
No, I don't think I've slept right since perimenopause began anyways.
I was struggling for a hot minute, and I say a hot minute because it was lots of hot flashes at night, like a week of drenched in sweat. But after enough of that, I did sit down with my gyno. I was like, hey, we need to do something. And we started an estrogen supplement, and it has helped tremendously.
Oh, good.
So if that's an option for you, go talk to your doctor because it has really ceased, I would say, 99% of my hot flashes, and my sleep is better and my mood is better.
No, definitely. Anything that'll make you feel better, I don't see why you would say no to.
Right? And it's a little sticker that I put on my abdomen, and I change out every 3 or 4 days, and it's just like a whole world of difference. So if it's out there for you, just ask. And I think that's what a lot of moms struggle with, is asking for help, because they're so busy helping everybody else that they're not the ones to sit down and go, I could use some help with this, even if it's just a phone call to your doctor. Be like, hey, this is what's happening. What can we do about it?
No, because we put the pressure on ourselves. We're the ones who are supposed to make sure we're motivated, self-motivation. And then we're supposed to make sure everybody in the house is motivated. And we're supposed to make sure that our routine's down so everybody else's routine is down.
Right. We're so adept at modeling the right behavior that even if it's just, a lot of times I feel like I'm faking it just so that everybody else believes that I've got it under control, so that maybe they'll just fall in line and keep up with me. But it just doesn't seem like that. Now with the kids the age they are right now, it's still a lot of moms handling a lot of our stuff for us.
Yeah, that'll change soon though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, as soon as my kids got through middle school now, it's like, I'm like, can I make you a lunch? And they're like, no.
What can I do to help you?
Yes,
I know absolutely that it will change soon. I'm not taking this time for granted, but
it is overwhelming though.
Did I mute myself?
No.
Okay, because my earbud fell out and I made a noise. Yeah, so I'm not taking it for granted, but I do know that it's limited, the amount of time that it's going to be happening like this.
It is. I strangely miss being in the car rider line. Not something I thought I would ever say.
You know what? Those 25 minutes daily where like you're just forced to sit, they are kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie. We walk because we're very close to the school for the nice weather. So like start of school through the first frost or whatever, we're walkers. And then for the yucky, gross winter and early spring months, we're car riders. And then we go back to walking. But I'm not gonna lie, I like those 20 minutes where it's just like, what can I bring with me to do? Not a whole lot because you're sitting in the car. So it is kind of nice to just devote that to some Zen time.
Yeah. It's like I would do like these grounding things where it's not meditation because my brain's always going. It's more of being in my senses. So I would sit in the minivan and roll down the windows and take deep breaths. And I would listen for birds because that would get me out of my brain.
Yes.
And now I never do it.
No.
I know. It was very helpful.
Does the windows in your office open?
They open to the highway, so that's not a good idea.
That's not good noise, no.
No. But I think it was like the built-in time.
Yeah.
And I was forced to sit and not do anything.
Yeah, and you don't have that anymore, and it's hard to justify carving it out when you've got so much on your plate.
Yeah. It is difficult to say and give permission to oneself that, hey, you can carve this time out and do this thing.
Giving myself permission to do things in general, or the way that I want to do things, was a big hurdle that I'm recently just getting comfortable with, because I was for a long time following rules and procedures and guidelines, and now that I'm not working, I don't have those anymore. So it was a big transition for me making the decisions. It's my guidelines and my rules and my procedures. So giving myself permission to set them and then enforce them was huge.
Now, that's always difficult when you're like, now what? Where's the manual? Where's the rule book?
Right, where's my SOGs?
And there's nothing.
No, you're in charge of writing them now, lady, so get it together.
Yeah, because we don't have enough on our plates. So we'll just come up with all the rules for the way our family system should operate.
It's daunting, but it is very freeing once you decide that, yeah, I can do this. I am 50% in charge of this house, because I do have a partner, I do have a husband who is just as much in charge as I am, but it is like a lot of, I get to make some calls.
Yeah, it's weird.
Let us be grown-ups. I don't get it.
I don't know. Sometimes I forget I'm in my 40s.
Oh, I'm only 29.
Oh,
I don't know how you got to be 40. I'm only 29.
I just aged quicker than you. That's all.
Cryogenic freezing I've been doing.
There you go. Every night when you put yourself in the freezer.
Yep.
It's trick
I
there.
feel like there should have been some sort of like class or certification that you needed to pass in order to get through all this, but they're just letting you free all this, and it's just bonkers.
Something. I mean, home ec, at least they taught me how to bake a little. Driver's ed, they showed me how things worked.
Yeah, there was a lot of yelling in driver's ed, but that was probably my instructor and also me. But yeah, I feel like there needs to be still like a grown-up verification, like every once in a while. Like you have to recertify every couple of years. So a grown-up comes in with a checkboard and a checklist and like, okay, this is what needs to be happening, and you aren't doing any of it, you fail.
Well, but just something to remind you, hey, this is the time in life when you should start thinking about retirement, or this is the time in life when you really need to put these ducks in a row so that when this next period of time comes, you're good to go. Like, I don't understand why we don't help each other more around these things.
Sorry, what I'm sitting on is very squeaky. Not as that we don't help each other. I think it seems like a niche information that unless it's like what your jam is, you don't know to research it to understand the procedures. And that's kind of what we were learning at this PodFest we were at this weekend, is that everyone has a niche interest. And that's where so many podcasts come from, as a niche interest. But you don't even understand the amount of niche information that you need on a daily basis, so that it's almost like, I didn't know that. Did you know that? We need to figure this out? But it's just like, it's good that the information's out there, but it's hard to know what you don't know.
Yeah, it's when you don't know what questions to ask.
Yeah, and it feels like that for a lot of life. It's like, oh, I'm glad I learned that. I wish I would have learned that 10 years ago, but here we are now learning this thing.
Yes, I almost think I should be like writing a journal so that when my kids are that age, they have more of a footing. But the world changes so quickly. I don't know if any of this will
Absolutely.
apply then.
And yeah, like when I turned 30, this is what I wish I knew coming from the 40-year-old, that like this is what would have helped me then. And like I feel like my headline is like, don't rush through it. And by the time I turned 30, I wanted to have so many things checked off that I didn't. And then I felt like a underperforming adult. But now that I'm 40, it's like, why was I rushing so much? Like I have plenty of time.
I know. I'm constantly in that in between though, where I'm like, I rush too much. I need to slow down. And then I'm like, oh, but I have like, because I work for myself, like no retirement. So I'm like, I have to rush. And so it's a weird combo there.
This tough balance to strike that even I feel like if you get to that right balance, you'll still feel like you aren't doing as much as you probably think you should be doing. Even if there's a professional going, no, you're doing everything right. You're right on track. Everything's on target. You're doing good. That's just not how our nervous systems are wired to just sit in comfort.
No, because they're always fluctuating so much from in and out. And that's one of those things that I'm a therapist and I still have to remind myself that the end goal isn't to be calm all the time. That is impossible because that's just not the way our biology works. And so recognizing it's going to fluctuate and how to kind of like ride the wave and be okay that it's doing that.
Yeah. And that's something that I've talked about with my therapist. And she's like, well, anxiety is necessary because anxiety keeps you safe. But the danger zone is when you're always overly anxious. And I was like, yes, I understand what you're saying. But can we also tell that to like my deep inner side, like my deep anxiety that's going, hey. I just wanted to be like, hey. I just need a little reminder. I don't need it to be like loud and proud all the time.
I agree. We have been through so much upheaval in such a short amount of time. I just think collectively, all our nervous systems are just so dysregulated and overwhelmed right now. It's like a fire alarm that won't turn off.
Right. All the wires are frayed and it just needs some gentle love to get them all back in line.
Yes. And I don't know how they couldn't be, because every time I turn around, something else is on fire.
Yeah, some other terrible headline or whatever thing is happening in the world. It's like never just a good news day. It always is something else happening.
No, since like 2007, 2008, which is awful to say because my daughter was born in 2008, but that's when the market bubble went bust for the house.
That was a rough time. Yeah.
And so that just sucked. And then it's like every couple of years since then, there's been some other economic upheaval or the plague or something, a hurricane.
Waves of weather. Yeah. It's just, there's been no like solid steady for a while.
No, I don't feel like there's been a solid good couple of years. I can't even remember, honestly.
Not since we've been adults, because if we go back to 2008, the landmark that you were just giving, that's when my husband and I, we bought our condo, our first together house in 2007, like at the end of 2007. We moved in, I think it was like February 2008. And then like the world went sideways. And then when we sold 2.5 years later, it was at a huge loss. And I feel like ever since then, it's been like a catch up, trying to make things level again. And it's just like everything's like the house prices are really high right now. So it makes you feel like we should sell because we'll get $100,000 over what we paid. But then
where do you live?
Where do we go? Or do we take that money that we just got from this house because prices are so high that we won't be able to afford anywhere else? So it's just like what we do.
Yeah, I don't know. We're in the same spot because it's like after the hurricane, so much is just unstable and just messy right now. And so I don't know even what the economy is going to look like. So I don't know if staying where we are in the mountains is safe or if we're going to regret it and the town is just going to be gone in a couple of years and I'm going to lose my shirt. I have no idea.
Yeah, and unfortunately, without a crystal ball or a true psychic, there's really no way of knowing what the future brings. So you just have to make the best plan that you can, and then be comfortable with that plan. And it is kind of an overwhelming thought to be like, I don't know what's going to happen. I can only control what's happening right now, but we'll do what we can, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's a weird adulthood. I don't think our boomer parents had to deal with this as much, or maybe I'm wrong, but
I think they had different hills to climb, but I don't think it definitely was a lot more removed, like with the 24-hour news cycle and the internet and everything always being in your face. It is a lot harder to navigate. I shouldn't say harder, but it's a lot more involved to navigate some things because you have the ability to like Google it. If somebody tells you something, you're like, I want a second opinion, and it is instant. We're back when our parents were in their 30s and 40s, that wasn't an option. It was this is what this guy said, so he knows what he's talking about, so let's go with it.
Yeah.
So, it's different, but I wouldn't comfortably say it's easier or harder.
True. They didn't have that financial up and down as much. They had pensions and things like that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, my pension, while it's, vested and it's there, it's a state controlled one. So if Illinois goes to pot the next, what do I got? 15 years before I can start collecting it, 12 years, if the state tanks, my pension tanks. So even that isn't like a comfortable state of being. It's just like, gotta see. It's one of those things that's unfinished until it starts happening. And it's just one of those.
Yeah. It's one of the,
what it is.
I think adulting is simply just learning that you're going to be uncomfortable a lot.
Yeah, and being comfortable with the idea of the uncomfortable is going to be an everyday thing.
Yes. And then, how do you have a calm, stabilizing moment for your body, your nervous system in the middle of the chaos?
It comes down to intention, I think. You really have to carve that time out. And if you don't have card rider line anymore, you need to put a 20-minute chunk on your calendar to maybe go out and walk around the parking lot, or I could say touch grass.
Yeah. No, I got to do something because I have noticed that is definitely having a big impact and not a positive one. So I don't like resolutions for January, but a goal, I think it would be good.
A goal or intentions are good. I intend on making sure that I get 15 minutes of just calm down time for things like that. Because I do notice on the car rider months for getting my son to school stuff that I do miss the morning walk and the afternoon walk.
Right.
And also I need to cherish them because this is the last year that they're happening. Because come next year, he's on a bus, which is so scary and so sad. But I need to intentionally be aware of these things. And it seems silly to say that I'm going to do this for myself, but everybody literally needs the time to do that for themselves.
Yes. Yes. Well, hey, when we talk again in February, we can hold each other accountable because that's the only way I do things. I can put it on the calendar, but if somebody isn't, it's not a meeting, so I don't have that pressure, then I don't always do it.
That attention check-in and see how it's going.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like accountability is too aggressive of a word. So a little check-in is nice, a follow-up. We'll circle back to it, see how it's going.
The check-in, it's non specific. It doesn't mean that it has to be done.
It just doesn't have to be done.
Going?
A little check-in. That's one of these things I like about recording this is that it's a scheduled check-in with you that we get to catch up. And I always say we should do this, not recording a podcast, but sometimes that's the only real downtime that we get because we intentionally carved it out for a real purpose. So we should get back to we are good for a while with this today check-in. So we should maybe work on those again.
No, I agree. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe we're helping some other mom out there recognize that nobody's got it together and we're all trying to learn how to regulate ourselves, and they can listen to us and they're not alone.
I hope so. I hope at least one mom goes, oh, thank goodness someone's not staging themselves for my, added stress.
Oh, God, no. There's no staging here.
No, gosh,
I don't have time.
oh, what's that time?
No. And what would I stage? Like, my brain doesn't think that way.
No, it's all those Instagram moms with the perfect houses and their kitchen counters aren't covered in clutter, or there's not a pile of like dog food swept into the corner that I'll get later or stuff like that. Like those are the ones that nobody needs, but that's just not who we are.
No. That's not how I am, and it's not how I live, and that sounds like too much pressure.
It does. It sounds like a lot of work just to like pretend.
No, thank you. If anything, I would like 2026 to be more authentically being myself, slowing down and trying to go with the flow and not fight it as much.
Yeah, I think going with the flow is a good intention to set, but also intentionally taking care of yourself a little bit better.
Very true.
And not necessarily framing that as self-care, because that sometimes is a lot of pressure, but like putting yourself maybe on the middle burner and not the back burner.
No, I like that approach, middle burner.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a little easier to palate.
Anything else before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered everything and then some.
Alrighty. So January, if you're not ready to go and you're not got all your resolutions and all your ducks in a row, you're in good company, because neither do we.
Join our club, girls.
And we'll check base again in February.
Yeah, we'll check in on February.
Alrighty.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for spending this little pocket of time with us. If anything we talked about stirred something up, just remember you don't have to rush to fix it. Noticing it is enough work already. And if you ever want a few more gentle ways to settle your nervous system, that's what the Mind Circuit app is here for. Check it out in Apple Store and Google Play, and we'll meet you back here next month. And as always, please be kind to your wiring.